responds to the people saying, and I will quote, this is from Beshalach from Exodus 14, line 13. Vayomer Moshe, and Moses said, El Ha'am, to the nation, Al Tira'u, don't be afraid, don't fear. Hit yatzvu ur'u et Yeshuat Adonai asher yaseh lachem hayom. Make yourself steadfast. Make yourself steadfast, like hold stable and get yourself strong and grounded and see all of the help and the salvation that God is going to do for you today. There's also a midrash that, and then Moses calls out to God for help. And God says, why are you asking me for help? Just start, take some action, do something, which I always think is interesting, right? And we know that's a very Jewish teaching. It's a very Kabbalistic teaching that we have to act on our own behalf first, and then the heavenly realm sees our action and responds and bolsters and supports our own action. But we can't be helpless, and we can't be victims, and we can't just wait and hope for some salvation. We have to get ourselves strong, resolute, chazak ve'amatz, right? We have to muster within ourselves a certain courage and action first. So we have a midrash of Nachshon, who is of the tribe of Judah, which becomes important because we know Judah is the tribe from which the kings descend, King David, King Solomon. Even in the New Testament, Jesus's lineage is traced back through the tribe of Judah and through Nachshon, actually. So we have this man, Nachshon, of the tribe of Judah, and what does he do? There's all this fear and there's all this anxiety and all this chaos at the shore of the Sea of Reeds, and he just starts walking into the water with no evidence that it's going to be fine or not. He just walks in and he gets deeper and deeper, and the water's at his chest and the water's at his throat, and he walks all the way in until he's fully submerged in the water. And at that point, God splits the seas and opens the water so that there's a clear, dry pathway for the Israelites to walk through. So Nachshon becomes this incredible metaphor and archetype of courage. And the midah in Hebrew, the soul quality, the trait, in Hebrew, it's Ometz Lev. Ometz Lev, like to make your lev, your heart and your mind, resolute, confident, courageous. So that's what we're going to practice today. So get ready for a strong yoga practice. We're going to be doing some warrior poses. We're going to be doing some strong strength building poses. We'll do some core work. Okay. And I think it's really relevant right now because the world more than ever is a place that is very fear mongering. You know, it's like the news, the media, the culture, everybody's feeding us fear from all directions. And it may be easy to find ourselves feeling like the victims of life, of our circumstance, of the world. And being a victim, at least, I mean, Jewishly, my read into it, it's really not the highest calling for us, right? Right? It's like enough with that, you know? Al tira'u, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Go out steadfastly in your own life and have courage and have strength to make something happen, you know? So that's what we're going to work on today. All right. How's that sound? We're good? All right, let's start with a little bit of meditation. Actually, I would really like to start with some breath work, though. How many of you guys, I'm just curious, have you done any Kabbalah Bati breath of fire? Some of you. Okay, all right. You know, I don't know that I want to go into like a whole 10-minute teaching on Kabbalah Bati, but all right, let me just, if you know this breathing, I'm going to show you a very brief intro to it. If you know it, feel free to do this practice. If this isn't good for you, first of all, if you have high blood pressure, if you're having any kind of stomach upset right now, maybe stay away from Kabbalah Bati. But you also are invited to do any breathing practice you want. You could do even breathing where you're just counting the length of your inhale, counting the length of your exhale, making it even. If you know alternate nostril, you're free to do that. The reason I like Kabbalah breath is called skull shining breath. It's all at the belly where you're forcefully exhaling, using the core muscles, and it heats you up right at the core, and it's very like vitalizing, invigorating. It gives you a lot of power. That's why I really like this practice. All right, so what it would look like is you're not actively inhaling or exhaling through your nose at all. It's not really up here, it's not in your face, it's in the belly. So you would take a breath in to start, and then the exhale comes from squeezing, pulling the belly muscles in really strongly, firmly towards the spine. So you're pressing on the diaphragm, and that forces the breath out. And then you release the diaphragm in the belly, and passively the inhale just comes back in. The lungs refill with the release of the diaphragm. So it's not from up here. It's from here. So I'll just show you. Like, I'm going to take a breath in. You see in here how it's very like, it's just this, I'm forcefully exhaling through the contraction of the belly. Soften your shoulders, soften your face. Let's try it together. Just bring your hands to your belly for a moment. So take a deep breath in, and then squeeze all the breath out through the belly. Squeeze by pulling the belly into the spine. You feel how that, and you're exhaling it through the nose. And then you just release the belly, and an inhale just naturally comes into the body. That's not a word, but sorry. Okay, so do a few of those nice and slowly, really slow, just to feel it. Okay, any questions? Was everybody able to really direct the breath from the belly? You felt that? Anybody have a question? Okay, so then here's how you would add on to that practice if you want. You can stay as slowly as you are doing it. If you want more fire, more energy, more heat, you can increase the pace of the breath. So it may look like, okay. And then the last piece I'll add on, and again, this is more advanced, you can just stay here. But a more advanced version is you take the breath in to start, and then you bring your arms overhead, kind of like a victory, a letter V, and you tuck your fingertips into your palms, which is actually like lion paws, feeling like you're a lion or a big cat with paws. Your thumbs come out, and you're holding your arms at like a letter V, and you would do the breath here. So I'm taking breath in, and then eyes can be open or eyes can be closed. If your eyes are closed, internal gaze is at the belly like a sun that is on fire, creating more and more heat and vibrancy. Or the inner gaze could be at your third eye, bringing like energy, again, that skull shining. You're trying to purify your mind, purify your heart and mind with the strength of it. Okay, so now I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to shut my sound off so you don't have to hear me do the breath, but I'm going to give us a minute to play with this breath. Okay. And you can just do like a round of 40 and then stop. Once you're done with your final exhale, you take a deep breath in, and then you can hold the breath in for like a little retention, and then you can let the breath all the way out. And you could do maybe a couple of rounds of that. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet now and just play with your own breath practice for a couple minutes. And wherever you are in that practice, the next time you finish, just bring your hands over the belly. Relax your shoulders away from your ears, relax your throat. And bring your internal gaze to the belly. Just feel yourself breathing here gently. And ask yourself, where in my life would I benefit from being more confident, more resolute, more courageous? And bring your awareness back to the belly. Every inhale, bringing light energy to the core, that third chakra, solar plexus. The place of strength, like you're really feeling your own integrated strength. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, let's do a strong practice. So let's just begin actually on your back. We'll start with a little bit of core. Because why not? And then we'll stand up and do our warrior stuff. All right, so come onto your back. Just hug your knees into your chest for a moment. And this is like starting in a child's pose, but from your back. Same feeling as child's pose. So you might feel a really nice stretch in the low back. Feel free to move side to side, really massaging the sacrum. You can also take circles with your knees. So you really feel like you're kind of tracing that backbone. Good. All right, and then you're just going to bring your knees above the hips and then straight up above the hips. Try not to have them over your chest. Try to have them really extended a little. Even to do that and just hold your legs there is a core exercise. So just start right there. The lower legs are kind of really glued together. Knees are glued together. Inner thighs glued together. And the belly is pulling down. So you're trying to get the belly to reach into the back of the spine, the low back pressing down into the ground. Right there, just stabilizing. Notice if you're doing this from your shoulders or from your face. Try to soften the shoulders. Try to smile. Release the clenching. You can use your arms down by your sides as a support, but don't, press hard into the shoulders. Okay, from here, you're just going to extend your legs out in front of you and then bring them back in. So easy, so hard at the same time. So you extend your legs, keep those inner toes, ankles, shins, knees glued together. Yeah, so extend and bend. Extend. Obviously, when you extend, this is all physics, you're creating more force that the belly needs to exert to maintain that, right? Good. Good. Now we're going to do a little bit of I don't know, I think about it like a water wheel, like an old fashioned at a mill or something. You're going to lift the legs up to the sky. Yeah. And hands again can be by your sides. If your core is still a little developing the strength to do this, you could place like your palms underneath your low back in a little bit of a triangle for extra support. You're going to lower your legs. Again, they're glued together. You're lowering them, and then you can bend them and bring them back in. So kind of like what we were doing, but now we're adding the extension and the slow lowering of two legs at the same time. If this is too much for you, do one leg at a time. That's okay. Yeah. We're just, again, I want you to just bring your attention, your mindful focus to the belly, and bring your minds, maybe there's something you want to tell yourself here. I am strong. I'm building even more strength. I'm centered in my own strength. Good. All right. Here's where it gets harder. If you want to go a little harder, you're just going to start with your legs straight up. You're going to lower down and hold. So obviously, the lower you go, the harder that's going to be. You could go hovering an inch above the ground. You could come to like 30 degrees, 45, whatever's right for you. You're just going to squeeze everything, especially that belly in, pressing the low back down on the ground. Good. And again, shoulders are soft, base is soft. You could still smile here. Yes. All right. Hug the knees in. How are you guys doing? Thumbs up if you're still with me. You're all right? All right. Awesome. All right. Let's do a little bit of bicycles here. Okay. So hands come behind your head. Your elbows are out. And we're just crossing, really reaching elbow either to knee or even beyond the knee. And then switching. Okay. So let's just do some of these. Wake up the core. We're going to revisit this later from our plank pose, doing mountain climbers, or what's sometimes called a Hanuman Kriya. That involves a lot more strength and cardio. So here we're just getting comfortable with this twisting going across the body. Yeah, belly is still hugging in. Try not to pull or yank on the head. The throat should be open and relaxed. But you are trying to get that opposite shoulder up off the ground. Good. Good. And then one more time, just let yourself rest. All right. One last thing on the ground before we stand up. So your arms can come out to the sides like a letter T, but I wouldn't go so high that it's above your shoulder or even at your shoulder. I would go a little lower so that you can keep the neck and shoulders relaxed. You're going to bend those knees again. Easier, knees come closer over the chest. Harder, knees extend a little bit away from the body. You're going to drop, and again, glue those inner knees together. If you want, you can even take a block and put a block between your thighs. Yeah. What that does is it creates some like very mindful boundary that you have to be squeezing into to hold that block there. Once you squeeze there, you're already going to feel how that engages the abs. So if you have the block and just squeeze right there and just feel that, that's a great exercise right in and of itself for the abs. You could feel how that immediately, like, oof, everything gets strong. Okay. So you're just going to twist over to one side, but you're not letting the shoulder come up off the ground, and you're not letting the knees touch. You go as far as you can that the shoulder is still down. This is the farther you go, the more you have to engage the core. Belly's pulling in. You're going to feel this in the obliques. You come up through the center, and then you switch over to the other side. And come up through the center. Yeah, so do a few of these at your own pace. I like to exhale up. That's the exertion part, the exhale. And then the dropping down is a slow, easy inhale. And then I hold it, squeeze everything in, and exhale through the center. You guys look great. No negative self-talk here. No, oh, this is hard. Why aren't I stronger? This should be easier. it doesn't serve us, right? We tell ourselves so many things that undercut and undermine our own confidence, create insecurity, anxiety, fear. We don't have to, there's enough in the culture, there's enough in real life that we don't have to add to it by then like giving ourselves these messages. So much of how strong we can be in the world is all based in the stories and the things we're telling ourselves. So tell yourself, I'm a fierce, freaking powerful, strong woman, and I'm getting stronger with every rep and set I do, because that's the truth. It's as true as anything else that you're telling yourself. All right, here we go. Let's stand it all up. We're going to start moving in our practice. Okay. All right. Find yourself on your mat. Good. Let's actually just start with a little bit of a toe balance. I know that seems like a weird thing to do, but to start with, but you're going to come up on your tiptoes. Nice. Yeah. So I just want us to feel grounded in our feet, in our legs, our foundation. And you're just going to play with lifting up onto the tiptoes. And it's okay if your balance is off. It's okay if you can't hold it. Just come up and down a few times with as much grace and control as you can muster. And again, what I want you to feel is, yes, this is partly about the feet and the legs and our connection, our rootedness, but it's also about the core. So I want you to feel like your belly is really pulling in to strengthen and hold yourself in this balance. Yeah. So our feet and our legs are the foundation in every pose, but the belly, the core, is like our power center, right? And it is what helps bring stability. So we want to learn how to be aware of and access that in all poses. All right, good job, guys. Excellent. Okay, let's start to move. So you're going to take a big breath in, reach your arms up overhead. As you exhale, bend the knees, let yourself fold over the legs. Just shake yourself out side to side here. Loosen out through the back, the vertebra. Relax the chin to the chest, lengthen the back of the skull. You might want to do a little kind of shaking out. Let the arms dangle. So even here, close your eyes and bring your awareness to your belly. Notice if your belly was just sort of not engaged and just hanging. Pull the belly in and up towards the spine. Now you just gave yourself a lot more strength and stability in the low back. So you're not going to overstretch. You're actually stretching in a safe way that feels more stable. Good. Bend the knees. Keep the core engaged right here as you roll up. Yeah. Good. Hands to your heart. Smile on your face. Inhale. Arms up to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, fold over. Good. Inhale, halfway up so the hands can come to the tops of the thighs. That belly draws in, shoulders up and back. Neck is nice and relaxed. Feel the core here. And right here, I'm going to ask you, similar to a Kapalabhati breath, just a few times, pull the belly in with a little exhale through your nose. So just feeling this feeling of pulling the belly in and up away from the ground, against gravity, working against gravity. You feel how strong that is. Yeah, in the belly there. Good. From here, bend the knees deeper, fingertips come down to the floor. Step your right leg all the way back. You're going to come up for a high lunge. Those victory arms in your lunge. Front knee is bent. It's reaching over that front ankle. Back foot heel is up, toes point forward. Good. Let's do a little bit of strengthening in the legs here. And again, this is coming from the core. So belly is strong. You're going to bend both knees and straighten through both legs. Bend and straighten. Yeah. bend, and straighten. One more time. Bend, straighten. Keep the back leg straight. Just bend that front knee a little deeper. Bring your hands to your heart. Think about drawing the belly in and then lifting the belly up towards the heart. So there's a little bit of a lengthening, a little bit of a back bend, not much. But even just that drawing in and up is gonna open up that hip. It's gonna create some heat. Anybody else's heart, you feel your heart beating? Yeah, my heart's going. Good. Good. Bring those arms up to the sky again. You're gonna float the hands down to the ground, step back to a plank pose. Good. From your plank, you can lower knees first, bend the elbows, lower down for a chaturanga. Yeah. Good. All right, from here, just a low cobra pose. Spread the fingers. Make sure all 10 toenails are touching down on the ground. Knees are lifted up. Press your pelvic bone down, belly in. So right here, pull your belly in and up, nice and strong. And then push the floor away from you. Hug the elbows into the sideways. Keep pulling the belly in and up, in and up, in and up. Yeah. This isn't happening from the head. It's not happening from the neck. It's not even from the shoulders. Yes, your arms might be screaming and on fire. There's a lot of arm strength here. But core strength right here. We're building heat. We're building power. Good. Lower all the way down on your mat. Make a pillow for your head. You can flip-flop your legs side to side. All right, as you're ready, hands and knees. And then you're gonna tuck your toes. You're coming into your downward facing dog. And take a moment to pedal through your heels. Do whatever feels good for you here. So we're gonna do something that again is very correlated. I want you to keep your whole focus is on the belly. The belly is drawing in and up. And I want you to imagine someone has like a string kind of right behind where the belly is, but on the back. And from that string, they're almost like you're a puppet and there's a marionette kind of lifting and lowering the string. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna slowly come forward, shoulders over wrists to a plank. And then again, lifting from behind the belly all the way up. So this is all coming from the core. It's not coming from the arms, from the head. Everything is initiated slow and steady from that belly. Good. One last time. Good. From your down dog, you'll bend your knees, get your hips up high, take a look up between your hands. And even this is a core activity, that jumping, springing forward. So feel pelvic floor muscles engage, belly pull in, and then spring yourself up to your hands. Good. Inhale all the way up to stand, arms overhead. Exhale, hands back down to your heart. All right. Whew. Okay, let's do that whole sequence on the second side. If I forget anything, help me out. Inhale, arms are going to sweep up to the sky. As you exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale to that halfway point, right? Pull the belly in, flatten out the low back. Good. And maybe a couple times here, just pull the belly in and up, in and up, in and up. Against gravity, like working the strength there. Yeah. Good. And then you'll fold down to the floor with the hands. This time the left foot steps back. And you're going to come up into your lunge. Good. Yeah, find your strength here. Find your stability. Spread your toes if they got kind of crunched up. So you want a solid foundation. Yeah, that's what Moses is telling the people. He's like, get solid. Know your base, know your foundation. Feel like, don't be afraid. Get strong. Okay, here we go. We are going to bend both knees and straighten both legs. You can bring your hands to your waist for this if you'd like. Bend both knees and straighten. So notice the tendency to do this from the feet and from the thigh muscles and the hamstrings. See if you could bring the belly engagement into this too, right? How do we create that awareness that the belly being engaged actually creates stability and strength here? When the belly's engaged, there's less fear of falling over, of losing your balance. Good. The next time you straighten the legs, you're going to keep that back leg straight. You're going to deepen the bend in the front knee. Don't be afraid. This is intense. You're probably burnt out and tired now. It's okay. One big full expression of that. Again, you can either do hands to your heart or hands up, but this feeling of lifting and sort of almost like you're arching away. The belly is stretching, stretching, stretching. Yeah. Good. And then you'll bring the hands down to the floor. You're going to step back to your plank again. All right. I told you we were going to do those mountain climber kind of things. But remember, we did it as a crisscross. So here's what it looks like nice and slowly. You're going to bring a knee, like your right knee bends and comes across towards the left elbow, and then step it back. Left knee comes across to the right elbow and step it back. Okay, you could do this really slowly, up and back, up, and you're trying not to lift your bum up to the sky. You're trying to keep the plank pose. Okay, and you may not get that many. That's okay. Do what you can. And when you've done all you can here, you can lower the knees, come lie down on the belly again, and we'll take our second round of a back bend. How'd that feel, guys? Good? Hard, right? Okay. All right, we're going to do another little cobra pose here. This time, we'll make it into like a Shalambhasana locust. So make sure your legs are stretching back behind you. Make sure the toes are placed down on the ground. Feel your belly lift in. This time, you're going to bring your palms behind you, face up. Good. You peel the shoulders up off the ground. Right? You don't have to crane your neck. You're not looking up so that your neck is crunched. Your neck could be looking down to the floor in front of you, 5-6 inches. But right here, just breathe in and out at the belly. If your low back feels strong and your belly feels strong, you may want to also lift the feet up. That's okay. That's the full version of the locust pose. If you're doing that, you're really working the core and working the legs. Breathe. And lower all the way down. Create a pillow for your head, maybe turning your head the other way than you did the last time. And again, just windshield wiper the legs. Okay. When you're ready, downward facing dog. We're going to move into warrior poses. All right. So from your down dog, start there. Yep. Okay. And you're going to take your right leg up to the sky. You're in a down dog split. And just enjoy the split. You can come up on the back tiptoes. You can press that heel back down. Really release the upper torso, hang the head. You can circle that ankle that's up in the sky, each direction. If you want to bend that knee and drop the heel behind you, you could take that extra inner thigh stretch and hip stretch. Good. All right, you're going to look forward, 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 forward. You're going to step that right foot all the way up by your hands, and you're going to turn the left foot down and come up for a warrior two pose. Let me turn around so I can see. Good. Okay, So your front knee is above the front ankle. Your back heel is really pressing down. Good. All right, in your warrior pose, let's just straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Yeah. Sometimes we're afraid to go so deep, right? The fullest expression of the pose, like this thigh is like really parallel to the floor. That's deep. That's a little scary. Oh my God, I don't want to hold that. But let's just be at the edge of what makes us afraid, right? We're not creating trauma. We're not inviting, bad things into our life, but we can be at the edge of our fear. We can notice it, notice our own, like, oh my God, am I strong enough to handle this? Do I have the willpower and the ability to get through this? So let's just stay and see. Let's just stay and see for a moment. It's okay. It's just yoga. It's just yoga. So you're going to come as deep as you can. The knee is not going past the ankle, though the knee is right above the ankle or just behind. You're trying to go really deep. You're going to hang out here. You can distract yourself by taking some shoulder circles. Open up the upper chest and the upper back. Don't lose the depth of that front leg. You're doing great. You're doing great. All right. From here, you're going to arch yourself backwards. Peaceful warrior. Peaceful warrior. So you're stretching that front right rib cage. Breathe into the right lung. Relax your head and neck. Relax the back shoulder. Good. From here, any version of extended side angle you want to take. That could look like the forearm comes to the thigh. It could look like you take a block either to the inside or the outside. I like the outside better. That reminds the leg to keep opening. Yeah. This upper arm can stay by your side if you have any shoulder or neck issues. It can come up overhead, or it can reach forward so that you're also creating one long line of energy stretching out of that back foot. Good. Try not to collapse that arm forward. You're really lifting and opening across the chest, leaning backwards. And again, see if you could go deeper in that front knee just for another 3 breaths. Go as deep as you can and breathe. You got this. You're building power and strength. Pull your belly in to the back of the spine here. How does that add to your strength and stability? Woo! All right. You're going to let the hands come down to the ground. Bring the other hand down to the ground. Step back to your down dog. Choices here. You can come into a child's pose, or you can do another round of mountain climbers, this time knee to the same side elbow. So it can, like, the knee can either come forward towards the chin, or the knee is coming slightly wider towards the elbow. You can take some of those to build more strength, more heat. And then wherever you are, if you need a child's pose now, you can do that, or you can just come back into your down dog whenever you're ready. Do a couple of big exhales here. So really let yourself inhale whatever you're experiencing, whatever you're feeling. Let it all out. You might even want to exhale with your mouth open, stick your tongue out. That's sometimes called lion kriya, Simba kriya, where you're exhaling with your tongue sticking out. Like really let go of whatever feels fearful. All of that, you're just releasing it, releasing it. All right, when you're ready, second side. So that left leg comes up to the sky. You're taking that down dog split. Remember to strengthen your right quad muscle. So that right upper thigh is hugging into the bone. Really strong in that leg. Good. Circle through the ankle a few times. If you want to bend that knee, open up through the inner thighs a little more. Make sure your hands are pressing down firmly on the ground though. Good. And then here we go. That leg extends back behind you. You look up between your hands. You step that left foot all the way up between the hands. Turn the right foot down. And you're coming in to your warrior two on the other side. I have to turn around so you guys can see me and I can see you. There you go. Again, that inner thigh is wrapping outward. You're not letting the knee collapse in this way. Stretch the toes if you need. And we're going to hang out here. So if you want to distract yourself this time around, you could take some eagle arms. So take one arm under, one arm over, clasp the hands, and then just kind of circle through, opening up that upper back and the shoulders. But don't lose your front knee bends as you do that. Good. And then you can switch and do the eagle arms the other way. I don't know about you guys, I'm sweating. This is this practice is a hard practice this morning. Good. Yeah. All right. 3 more breaths. 3 more breaths in your warrior. You've got this. Push past where you are saying, oh, I'd rather go back to bed. I'd rather go back to Egypt. This is too hard. Why did I log into this class this morning? Why did you bring me here? Be like, no, walk into the water and then it's going to split. Yeah. All right, here we go. Reverse. Oh my God, my front leg. I know you guys are feeling this. Breathe into your left lung. Try to smile if you can. All right, and then you're going to come forward into the side angle. That should feel a little bit easier. Yeah, a lot of the weight in the side angle pose is really in your back foot, right? Your back, outer heel, and ankle are really grounding this pose. So really push into that back foot, and from that place you find length. You can open up. It doesn't mean you fully come out of that front knee, but there's a little less intensity in that front leg. Breathe. Pull the belly in here. Feel that, right? Remember to contain the strength at your core. All right. Bring the hand down to the ground. Here you come into your down dog. Options here. You can either come into this just forward and back like we did before. Yeah, using the core, lifting from the core and coming forward. Or you can do that with one leg. Okay, so same thing, but one leg is up off the ground. A little bit different. You might want to do 4 or 5 on one side and then switch and do 4 or 5 on the other side. Notice how as soon as you have that extra weight that you're carrying and the asymmetry, it changes the whole pose. You have to engage your core muscles in a different way. Yeah. And then from there, you can lower the foot to the ground, lower the knees to the ground, sit back in a child's pose. Just let yourself breathe, let yourself get settled, grounded. So come back for a moment to that reflection at the beginning of the practice. Where in my life could I benefit from being more confident, more courageous? And just feeling how your own physical practice and spiritual practice can really infuse you with some additional courage and strength. All right. As you're ready, come on up to sit. And we're going to sit in what is sometimes called thunderbolt pose. Thunderbolt pose, you're sitting on your heels, right? And your hands are right here. Good. All right. If that's not good for your knees, please respect your body's limitations and what your body can do. So you can bring a block or multiple blocks under your bottom and just separate your feet slightly. Yeah, so that you're a little bit more elevated. It takes some pressure off your knees. Another thing that might be nice, this is maybe for another day, maybe for now, but is actually rolling up a blanket and placing, I'll just show you from the back. you can roll up a blanket and put it right here between, like into that knee, and then sit back there. And what that's doing is actually like it really helps to open up a lot of the muscles that are in there. It won't feel super pleasant. It'll feel like a little bit of stress on your calves, and you're like, sensation. But it's actually facilitating healthy. Yeah, I know, I see some of your faces. You're like, no. Yeah. But see how tight that is and how, right? It's actually facilitating some opening. So anyway, choose to sit here for just a moment. Okay, you're going to bring your hands on your lap. We're going to do a little bit of lion breath, lion pose. So, and I'm wearing my lion shirt today in honor of Nachshon and Judah. And Leo is the sign of the zodiac that is associated with heroism, being a hero, being a leader, shining, radiating. It's ruled by the sun astrologically. It is about coming into your solar plexus, having the ability to shine with confidence and from a place of generosity, right? Nachshon wasn't acting for himself. He was acting for the entire nation. He was sacrificing himself as the hero. It's like the firefighter who runs into the burning building to save everybody. So we can be that hero for others. We can be that hero and show up that way in life, but we need to practice it. So here's what lion pose looks like. It looks ridiculous. Please excuse me. Nobody's going to see you guys. They'll just see me on the video. But you're going to take a big breath in and sit up as tall as you can. And on an exhale, you're bringing your chest through. You're kind of bringing your heart forward and open. You stick out your mouth. You stick out your tongue. You bulge up your eyes, and you do a big exhale. So it looks like this. It's a little crazy pose. Do it a couple times and just see what that feels like. It's a huge release of energy that leaves you a little bit buzzing. So do that a few times. Bulge up your eyes, look really crazy. It kind of adds to the effect of it. Nice. Awesome. All right. Cool beans. Come up off those legs. Stretch them out in front of you. Make sure you're sitting evenly on both of your sit bones, and just sit up nice and tall here. So yoga-wise, this is called Dandasana, which is staff pose. Kind of fits with our parsha and the whole series of parshas we just read about Moses and his staff. It's very strong and solid. Notice that this is a core pose, right? If your core isn't strong, the tendency here is to collapse, right? So everybody collapse for a minute and dump all your weight into your low back. You feel how different that is? There's no strength in the belly. There's no strength in the legs. Your shoulders collapse. Your heart shrinks. Literally, it's the opposite of Ometz Lev. It's like shrinking your heart instead of expanding and strengthening your heart. So now you pull the belly in and up, and you give yourself a lift, not from the shoulders, but from the core integrating. Flex those feet. Sit up really tall. You might feel a Kegel happening here. That's your pelvic floor root, Mula Bandha. Don't worry about the technical yogic, but that's it's this root lock, this feeling of I'm not leaking and sinking my energy down. I'm containing and getting very strong and stable. All right, from here, lift your arms up overhead. Let's take 3 more breaths here. I'm shaking. I don't know. Are you guys shaking? This is not easy. It looks easy, but it's not. Good, I see. All right, and then from here, you're going to lean forward, 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 forward. Wherever your fingertips might land is good, but make sure you're not overextending your shoulders into your ears. So soften the elbows, soften the shoulders, tuck your chin to your chest, and fold. Paschimottanasana, forward folded. So this might be a fearful place, right? Just notice what shows up. there's like almost a claustrophobic feeling here of like, oh my God, I'm too closed in. And there's an intensity, and how long do I need to be here? Sometimes the fear is of being alone with yourself in your own mind, in your own body, right? So just breathe, really breathe, and maybe breathing from the belly. Really feel the belly pull into the spine on the exhale. Remind yourself, I am strong, I am fierce, I am courageous. If you've gotten more comfortable physically in the pose, you might be able to stretch it out a little farther, and that'll just bring you to your edge again, right? When the edge is no longer an edge, maybe you push yourself a little farther, and that's part of training yourself to lean into what scares you instead of to pull away from it. All right, you're gonna walk yourself up out of that. Let's bring the feet together. Shake out the thighs, take some circles here. All right, so I'm going to invite you to finish your practice today before we end in Shavasana. Finish with some form of inversion. So an inversion is when you elevate your feet higher than your heart and your head. So one simple inversion can just be lying on your back with your legs up. That's simple. Another way you could do it is a supported shoulder stand. So basically you're taking a block, placing the block under your sacrum. Now, mind you, it's not under the middle where you're arching like this and your tailbone's dropping to the ground. You want to feel very supported. So the flat part of your low back, that sacrum bone, is really on the block. And then from here, you can elevate your feet. That's another nice little inversion. You can also do a shoulder stand practice. I see somebody doing that. Very nice. So shoulder stand practice, you're going to use your core muscles to lift the hips all the way up off the ground. Your tush is up high, then you can then set your hands here as an extra support, and you keep lifting the feet up towards the sky. And you can take any other variations you want out of those poses. Feel free to take a happy baby or take a reclining pigeon, figure four stretch, whatever you might need. And then slowly make your way into your Shavasana as you're ready. As you come into your Shavasana, you may want to work with a mantra that relates to your own courage and your own Ometz Lev. Something as simple as I am strong, I am powerful. You can bring your hands over the belly and just breathe with your awareness there. And you might want to offer some prayers for yourself and for your loved ones and for the world. Aseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, Emru, Amen. May the source of peace bless us and all beings with peace. All right, take your time. You guys are in your own home, so take as much time as you want before you start your